Hello and welcome to another reading vlog, but not just any old reading vlog, another TinyAthon. So TinyAthons were something that I intended to do on my channel at least once a month, but I've only done one once before and it was many months ago. So I thought now's as good a time as any to bring it back. If you didn't see my last TinyAthon vlog and you're not really sure what it is, basically I intended it to be like a little 24-hour readathon for myself where I just try and read and just be as productive as possible. Last time I mainly focused on reading and journaling, so that is also going to be my main focus for this one as well, except this time around I'm actually going to be doing it for 48 hours just to give me a little bit more time to get stuff done. And I'm also going to be starting at 7 p.m. instead of at midnight like I usually would, because usually at that point I'm asleep, so it just seems like a weird time to start. So it's currently June 9th and I'm going to be starting at 7 p.m. which is in 15 minutes, and then I will run this vlog until 7 p.m. on June 11th. So hopefully we will get a lot of reading done. Like I said, I'm going to focus on both reading and also journaling, but first to share with you what I am currently reading. So I'm currently reading The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I am on page 304, so I'm more than halfway through it. I've only got this much left, and I am really enjoying this. I'm buddy reading it with my cousin, and we're having a great time reading it. She's really enjoying it also, so I'm very excited to finish this. So that's my first thing that I plan on reading. My second thing I'm using as a tripod, so I'm gonna have to make you shorter. It only makes sense that you would be balanced on a stack of books. So my second read after I finish that one, I plan to pick up The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. I just recently reread the selection, which didn't give me a lot of hope for this book, but I'm hoping it will surprise me. I mean, who knows? I just hope it's a good time, frankly. I just want to be entertained right now. So those are the two books that I plan on reading over the next 48 hours. As far as my journaling, this is the journal that I'm currently using. I know a couple of people requested that I talk a little bit more about my journaling, but I don't really know like what you guys want to know about it. I've always thought about doing those like journal flip through videos because my journaling tends to be kind of a like mixed media format, so a lot of times it has like pictures or stickers or different stuff like that, and I really like watching those journaling flip through things, but also my journaling is very personal, so I know some people when they go over personal things they'll stick like sticky notes on top of it, but mine is just all personal, so it would just be weird to have it all like blocked out if I was to do a flip through video. But just to give you an example, this is like my opening page to my new journal. So yeah, I just kind of use stickers and washi tape, and I paste in these pictures which are from my like page a day calendar, and I'm not super happy with this, how this one came out. I would show you some of the other ones, but again, I don't really want to show my personal journalings. I will show you this one because it's actually more than halfway through the Feel Good-a-thon, which I was originally vlogging for, but then I ended up just completely failing at vlogging, failing at reading. Like, this is only the second book that I would have finished, and we're more than halfway through the readathon, so I kind of gave up on that. But I did make this little page for it. So there were self-care challenges, and then there were reading challenges. So those are the self-care ones, and then these are the reading challenges. And while I'm not vlogging for the readathon anymore, I am still trying to like complete some of the challenges and the self-care challenges, so I'm still ticking them off as I go. But when I started doing this readathon, I really fell off on my daily journaling, so I'm going to try and get back into that in these next 2 days. So yeah, I think that is probably all for tonight, and I will probably update you guys again in the morning. Wow, the lighting here is horrendous. What if I just like lit myself with my iPhone? Is that better? Worse? Better? Worse? Are we ready to tell ghost stories? Because that's kind of what this looks like. I think it's better, so I'm just going to keep it. Anyways, it is now the next day. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I'll be honest, I didn't read a whole lot last night, but I did read a little bit this morning, and then I had to run some errands, so now we're here in the middle of the afternoon. Very shadowy, that's for sure. So I'm on page 380, and I thought I would take a second to just tell you a bit of what this book is about and what I'm really thinking of it. So basically, this book is set in, I think, the like early 1900s. I don't think it's ever specifically stated, but just by the way that they speak and the fact that they use carriages to go around, but they do have a car, but it seems to be a relatively new thing. So I'm thinking it's like the early 1900s, and basically it's set at a masquerade Masquerade. It takes place over about a day, and at the end of this masquerade, Evelyn Hardcastle is murdered. And so we're following a character called Aiden Bishop, and he basically has to live this one day over and over and over again until he solves the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle. But the twist is that every single day he wakes up in the body of a different guest at this masquerade. And that's like just the simple synopsis that you get off of the back. This book is so much more complex than that, and in like a good way, not a bad kind of complex, but there's so much more to it than what you just read on the back and what I just told you. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm extremely intrigued to find out how it ends, because there's so many things going on that I can't really tell you without really spoiling it. So that's all I'm gonna say, is that there's just a lot going on and it's really intriguing. The only thing I would say that's bad about this book is that it's a little bit confusing at times. Like, there are so many characters and there's like so many different plot lines going on, and with the whole repeating the same day, there's this kind of specific timeline that you have to keep straight in your head, and you can have a bit of like a butterfly effect if he does something different in each day. And I don't know how the author was even able to keep this all straight, because like there's so much going on, but like props to him for doing that. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the afternoon reading this book because I am desperate to find out how it ends. I do feel a bit like the ending of this book is going to make or break it, because while it's extremely interesting reading it with all of the different things going on, if they're not all wrapped up properly, it might just ruin the whole thing. So I really hope this book has a good ending, because I'm really enjoying it so far. The only thing about the ending is that I honestly, usually with these kinds of whodunit stories, I usually have some kind of hunch as to like who the killer is or something like that, but I genuinely have no idea. Like, I am baffled by this story, and I can also tell that just with everything going on that there's going to be like multiple reveals. It's not just going to be like one thing, and I really have no idea for any of them. I have like a little hunch, but I have no evidence to back that hunch up. It's really just like, you know, the killer is usually the least likely person, so who's the least likely person? I picked them out in here. I'd tell you, but in case I'm right, I don't want to, like, spoil you. So that's my only evidence, is, like, usually it's the least likely person. This is the most least likely person. That's my hunch. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading this, and then I will update you later. So it is now 6:55 in the evening. Don't mind my background picture, it's just Timothée Chalamet. Anyways, I finished The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I finished it at around 5:30, and then I had to process the ending for an hour and a half, so now I'm here to talk to you about it. I'm actually not going to talk a whole lot, because I think I'm going to do a whole review video for this, because I just have so many thoughts on this book. This was almost a 5-star read for me. It wasn't quite, just because a couple of things, like the ending, I still don't know how I feel about the ending, because it wasn't what I expected it to be, but also I'm not really sure what I was expecting, so I'm just kind of still processing the ending. But I also feel like this is one of those stories where if it was a movie, you'd have to watch it at least twice, if not more, in order to get the full effect of the story and be able to see all of the connections and just how everything fits together. And that's, you know, easier to do with a film, because you can watch it in just a couple of hours, whereas I'm sure that there's probably some people out there that could read this in a couple of hours and then just go back and reread it and see all of those little details that they may have missed, whereas I can't do that. It would take me several days to read this, and I'm already not much of a rereader. Also, as much as I enjoyed this book, this is mentally exhausting to read, because like I said, there's just so many characters and so many different like plot lines kind of going on that it's mentally exhausting to keep all of it straight in your head. So I would absolutely love to see this turned into a film, but at the same time, I feel like it could easily go wrong. And even if it was turned into a film, I still feel like usually with movies they either take stuff out or don't put everything in, or they change things, and so I think even if this was adapted, you probably still wouldn't get the full effect of all that the author was trying to do with this story unless you found a director that was really willing to make a super accurate adaptation. I still think this would make a super cool movie, and with such a huge cast of characters, they could get like so many good actors in this film, and it would just be like just so many great people in one movie, but that's if they like casted it correctly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I feel like I wasn't able to fully appreciate everything about the story just because there was so much going on and my brain can only handle so much, but it was still really, really good, and I would definitely recommend it if you like Agatha Christie or Clue, which are the two things that this has been compared to, and accurately so. This also completed a couple of the reading challenges for the Feel Good-a-thon, which even though I'm not vlogging for it, I thought I would just fill you in on the challenges. So it completed the challenge of reading a book you have high hopes for, also buddy reading a book, and reading a book by an author you've never read before. So that means I've got 6 challenges completed and 4 left to complete, and then I've still got 4 of the self-care challenges to complete. So I'm now going to move on to reading The Betrothed, which you are still sitting on top of, otherwise I'd show it to you. I'm very nervous going into reading that book after reading this one because my brain is like still processing it, so I think this may have left me in a bit of a book hangover. In fact, I may just hold off on reading The Betrothed until tomorrow, and I'll focus on my journaling tonight and maybe do a little montage clip of that. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this reading vlog so far and it's not too boring, but yeah, I will update you all in the morning. Hello everyone, so it is now the next day and it's about 6:30 in the evening, which means that technically my readathon would be ending in about a half hour, but I haven't finished The Betrothed yet. In fact, I'm only 50 pages into it, so I think I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway and extend it another 24 hours and end it tomorrow at 7 p.m. because I really do want to finish this book in this vlog, and I think I'd be able to do it. She has very fast writing. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm only 50 pages in. That's just because I haven't taken the time to actually sit down and read it. I think if I just took like 2 hours out of my day, I could probably finish this whole book, but I get bored so quickly that I only read like 10 pages at a time and then I do something else, and usually whatever else I'm doing just distracts me the rest of the day. So I think if I really like prioritize it, I'll be able to finish this before the end of tomorrow. So I should probably tell you a bit of what it's about. The premise of it is that it takes place in a country, or I think it's like a continent, that is split up into several kingdoms, and this one kingdom, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the king picks our main character, Hollis, to be his queen, but she ends up falling in love with somebody else. That hasn't all happened yet because, again, only 50 pages in, but that's like the main premise of it. So far, it's a little too early to say whether I'm really enjoying it or not. Like I said, the writing is very quick and it's really kind of engaging and just kind of entertaining. I think once we get into the actual story, I'll decide more whether I really like it or not, but so far it's just kind of like a fun, quick little thing. The only thing that I can basically say right off the bat is that the world building is terrible, which from the reviews that I've I've read, it's not surprising. Her selection series also had terrible world building, but I really kind of hoped that her writing would have grown from that. Also, the characters aren't super developed, which I feel like even at 50 pages in, we should have been able to see all of that stuff by now, so that's a little bit unfortunate, and it's also a little bit weird. So the part of the story that I'm up to, I mean, I don't think it's really a spoiler to say, but there's a family that is coming from another kingdom that is at the palace and asking this king if they can stay in his kingdom because I guess the king of wherever they're from was like ruthless or whatever. So basically the person that she ends up falling in love with is, I think, going to be the son of this family, and it's just a bit strange because up until this scene, the king didn't seem like a bad person by any means. Like, he seemed like a kind of nice guy in the interactions that they had, while they seemed kind of, I don't want to say superficial, but you can kind of tell that, like, she's maybe just doing it because she's trying to move up in society and because he's the king, but I think that he seemed like a nice guy. But then we get to this scene where we're introduced to this other guy that I think she's going to want us to like, the author that is, and suddenly the king just turned into a total jerk in this scene, and I was just like, that was a bit weird. But the one thing I do like about this is the relationship that Hollis has with her, like, lady in waiting, who is also like her best friend. I really like their relationship so far. We'll see how it goes from here, but so far I really like that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this book. I also got a package from RedBubble today. I've never ordered from RedBubble before, but they seem to sponsor a lot of booktubers, which I really appreciate, companies that like acknowledge booktubers. So I decided to order some stickers from them because I got a new laptop and I am like a grandma with technology, so I always hate getting any kind of new technology because I'm just really bad at learning how to use it, and so I end up getting new things and just not using them because I can't be bothered to learn how to. So I thought, to make me like my computer a little bit more, I would buy some stickers to customize it, and I thought it would make me want to use it more. So I ordered a bunch, but only one has come so far, and it is this one, which is a part of the Greatest Showman. So it says, "Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head, a million dreams are keeping me awake," which this is one of my favorite songs from The Greatest Showman, and I really love that line specifically. So I thought this was perfect because I also just love the style of it, how it's black and white, and also it has a moon with a face on it, and I don't know why. My mother hates the like moons or suns with faces on them, but I always loved them. She thinks they're creepy, I think they're beautiful, so I thought this was just like the perfect sticker for me, and it also fits just perfectly right next to the keypad. It's just like it was made for this computer. So I haven't stuck it on yet because I'm waiting for the other ones to come so I can like arrange them perfectly. So I'm really hoping that they'll show up tomorrow because I'm very, very excited to use all of these stickers. But yeah, that is my update for tonight, and I will probably update you again tomorrow. Just kidding, I thought I wouldn't update you until the morning, but I'm actually going to repot my flowers, so I thought I would show you because I'm actually very proud of these little guys, and I kind of am known to kill everything, so the fact that these are living their life kind of okay, it makes me very happy. These are all orange sunflowers, and then I've got daisies in these two, and then these are my mom's tomatoes, which she just replanted into a bigger pot. So I'm gonna do the same with these guys so that they've got a little bit more room to live their life. Alright, the plants are now repotted. I only had 3 pots, so these ones just have to stay in their little ones until I get more. But I'm really happy with how they look. Also, if there's any plant people out there that could tell me, are these little leaves supposed to have shriveled up and died? Because, like, they look nice and healthy up here, but then they're all shrivelly down there, which I assume is supposed to happen, but I don't really know. So I'm also one of those crazy people that likes to name their plants, but I haven't named these guys yet. So let's call this one Rachel. This will be Monica. This one is Chandler. The little one is Joey, and then I guess the daisies will be Ross and Phoebe. So it is now the next day. It is 3:40 in the afternoon. I'm sorry if you can hear the air conditioner running in the background, but I have finished The Betrothed by Kira Cass, and I am truly confused about this book because, and this is gonna sound mean, but I genuinely have nothing positive to say about this book. Like, the writing is super simple, which doesn't necessarily make it bad, but also there was no world building. I'm still kind of confused about the politics of this country. There was no character depth or development throughout the story, and also, like, nothing happened in this book until the end, in which the author made some very bold choices, but overall, really nothing happened in this book, so it was also kind of boring. But for some reason, I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads because genuinely, whenever I would put this book down, I felt an urge to pick it back up. Even though I didn't really have any investment in the characters, barely in the story because there was barely a story, but for some reason I kept wanting to pick it back up, and I read it pretty quickly. Like, I read it within the span of about 24 hours, so I'm just like, I'm kind of conflicted about this book because it isn't very good, but I also kind of liked it, so go figure, I don't know. My camera battery is flashing at me, so I guess I should probably just wrap it up here, but overall I would say this was a pretty successful little TinyAthon, even though I had to extend it a day. I really, really loved the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and I kind of enjoyed this one also. So yeah, leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read either of these books and what you thought of them. I'd love to discuss them with you. And also let me know if you'd like me to do more of these little TinyAthon videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
You hear that, Samson?